Right. Now, when it comes to finding the right niche for affiliate marketing, what we want to do is forget about our passion and forget about all the interests we have. Those can help, but not just yet. We're going to use those later. What we're going to do is follow the data. We're going to use AI, a series of websites, and certain tools to figure out what's actually working and what we can get involved in based on data that tells us where the money's at. Because if we're here to make money, this is going to be super important. So what we're going to do first and foremost is go through a full niche finding tutorial. I want to show you exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis, how it works, how I determine if a niche is going to be profitable, and whether I should proceed or not. Now, the first thing I want to do when it comes to finding niches online is I want to look at the data sources. I want to go out there and look at sites like Flippa and see what types of blogs and offers are out there. Now, remember, a lot of websites like this do not actually vet the blogs and websites, so it's our job to do the due diligence and find out, okay, are they actually getting traffic? Are they making money? We can use tools like SimilarWeb, Ahrefs, SEMrush, or anything else to figure out what the traffic is like, so we can see, okay, yeah, this is actually getting traffic. The amount they're claiming is justified or unjustified. And what you can do is you can go up here to browse. You can find different websites, software as a service, all kinds of things you can get. Now, what we're doing is we're using this to find ideas. We're using this to prove concepts and say, hey, wait a minute, maybe I didn't think about that subsect of a market niche or that subsect of a software niche. That's what we're looking for here. We're going to use sites like Flippa. We're also going to use sites like Empire Flippers, where we can go through and see niches at a glance. Now, some of them will show you actual websites. Some of them will just give you the niche idea, which is fine. That's all we need is a niche idea. Then we can go through and find websites in that niche and kind of reverse engineer and see what's going on. This is super important. Another thing you can do, and this is something you can do with AI literally for free, it doesn't cost anything. I mean, obviously you got to pay for the AI, but going through, you can even use, DeepSeek or whatever it is to find this stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to find niche blog income reports. A lot of bloggers out there will actually go through and post their results online. This is something known as build in public. This is something that was made popular a couple of years back, where the idea was, I'm going to build a business in public, get traffic, and show everyone how it works. And what you can do is you can actually go to something like ChatGPT and say, find me tons of niche blog income reports, and it'll just lay them out in a really cool way. I've used this to find thousands and thousands of niches. Now, again, the ideas are just ideas. It's up to us to put the work in and do everything. And even if we do everything right, there is a risk. This is a business. You might not make anything. Most people make nothing. We want to look at this like a business in a real world way. Now, with that said, there are lots of bloggers and people making a good living online doing this kind of stuff. Make sure you follow all the rules, have all the affiliate disclaimers and disclosures and everything like that. Now, first of all, that's what we're doing. We're looking at data sources to see what's out there and kind of put it with what we would want to do. Like if I see, hey, there's this blogger talking about sewing machines, and maybe I just happen to be an avid sewing enthusiast, well, that would be a good one to go through. And this is something that we do as a service for a lot of my customers. People will come in and say, hey, I want to start a blog. We will ask them, okay, what do you like? What do you not like? What are some ideas you've thought about? And we'll go through and find them different ideas based on what they're doing. Now, some other data sources that we can use are tools that find expired domains. So going through here, you can find expired or auction domains. What this tells us is, hey, these people have actually gone out there and gotten traffic in whatever niche it is. Now, depending on how you use this, we can go through and use like GoDaddy auctions. This is a great way to start. Like here's one for all kinds of stuff. We could see some kind of crew thing, soap. Here's some kind of soap thing. It could be like soap operas or actual physical soap for cleaning things. And we could go through and see what they rank for. I've actually used this method to find lots and lots of different niches, and this is really going to work together with the Head Start method I'm going to show you in just a minute. So we can go and look at domain auctions, look at places people are selling websites and blogs. This is kind of like if you were going to do a business and you wanted to know what's a good business to get in your area. Well, look at what franchises are doing and look at what franchises are for sale. If you see that fast food franchises do really well, then you would know people in that area want fast food. Or if gym memberships do well, maybe you'd know that. This is basing it on business data. Now, while it's not a brick and mortar business, we are seeing, okay, they are out there and they are actually selling these sites and stuff like that, and you can see what's working and why. Super, super important. All of the data is out there, which is really cool. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to look at proof of profit and traffic. Are other people doing this? Once I go in there and I'm like, okay, well, I found that a lot of people on Flippa are selling, drone websites. All right, well, let's look at what else is in the drone market. Let's use our Ahrefs tool to see, okay, are there actually people getting traffic for these? What is going on? How does it work? What is the traffic like? Does it justify the kind of income I want to earn? If you want to make X amount of dollars, let's say you want to make $1,000 a month, is there enough traffic to justify it? Those are the questions we need to ask. Also, we need to ask, how are they earning? Are they just throwing up ads like Ezoic and Mediavine and AdSense, or are they doing affiliate offers? Do they have their own products? Next, we want to look at what the big offers are. We want to go to CPA affiliate networks and see if there's a big offer that pays a bunch of money. Maybe in a mortgage market, there's a mortgage application that pays $100. That would be the big offer in that market. Or if you're out there doing like drone fishing, maybe there's a drone that works really well for fishing where I get paid a good amount. Not talking about just like AdSense or Amazon or something like that pays low. We're looking for something that pays really well. This is known as CPA affiliate marketing. We're going to go out there and find stuff like As Seen on TV or like those light socket security cameras or something like that is going to pay really well. We want something that's paying around 30%, sometimes more than 100% commission depending on how the offer is structured. Sometimes those light socket security cameras will be $29 to the user, but we might get $50 to sell it because they're buying a customer. So what we're looking for is big offers in our niche. Think of it this way. If I was in the niche teaching people about niche blogging, the big offer might be a course or web hosting. These are things that our market needs that pay a lot of money rather than, okay, well, let's just get them a how to blog book on Amazon. I can get them a course or web hosting or something very strategic. More about that in just a minute. Next of all, once we go through and we get our data sources, we look at our domains and everything that's out there, we prove the profit, see what's going on, see if people are making money, see if the traffic's actually there, look at other places. Are they on forums and affiliate or Facebook groups or whatever they're doing? Next, we're going to ask ourselves, is this attainable? Can I actually get this traffic? A lot of people come to me and they're like, Marcus, I have this great idea. Years ago, someone came to me with this great idea about a driving platform, like a kind of like an Uber kind of thing. And I was like, okay, well, that's a big, tall order. For you to actually make that work is going to be difficult. I'd rather see you go for something smaller, maybe a local area or something like that. And that's what we're going to ask ourselves. Number 3, can we get this traffic? Is it too competitive? What does it look like? When I go to Google, is it like gigantic websites? Like if I see Uber, Lyft, and all these big websites, well, it's going to be pretty difficult. However, if there's little niche sites in there, that would work really well. For example, if I was to go to Google and search for drone fishing, what you're going to see here is different results that come up. First of all, we see the AI overview. We see some YouTube stuff over here. Then we see some products. Okay, so unless you're selling your own product, you're not going to show up there. And this is one of the tips that people overlook because it's too simple. And it is looking at Google's homepage to see what Google wants. Ergo, if I want to rank here, I need to have a video because that is what is ranking on the top of Google. Next, we're going to look at websites. So we got Reddit, we got YouTube, we got Urban Drones, we got Fish Verify, we got all these other ones. There's a Facebook, it looks like a Facebook group or something like that, and on we go. Here's one for drone fishing. So we do see right out of the get-go, there is a specific drone fishing one. What I would want to do is see what his traffic looks like. Is it too competitive? Can I get it? Use your keyword tools to figure out what's going on. Next, we want to ask ourselves, are there any back doors to that niche? Are there different types of drone fishing that we can talk about? Are there different types of mortgages we can talk about? Things that will get people into our content to sell our offers, but not in a direct path like just going for the word drone fishing. We want to think glossary method. What are the key terms people look up that would lead them to drone fishing? These are very easy to do where we can go through and say, list terms like a glossary related to drone fishing. And it'll go through and it'll talk about all this stuff. Now, when you start to stack these up is when the magic happens. If I stack this up and use this method, right? We see here waypoint GPS or whatever this is. So you could do payload capacity and then we'll pair it with the word drone. So we could just go to Keyword Explorer, right, like this, payload capacity drone fishing. And then we'll back it off and say maybe just for drone. There we go, right, like that. So now we have drone payload capacity. These people are probably looking for either delivery things or fishing or something like that. And while there's not that much traffic, a lot of these terms together will add up. That is the backdoor to your niche where you can get traffic in a very specific way. Next, is there sideways content we can create, or is it something very straightforward? Like how to tie a tie is pretty straightforward. There are some sideways content where we can do like how to tie a or not. I think that's the only one I know, but I know there's lots of others there that you can use. So there are different ones you can use to get people to that tie a tie thing where you're not just going for the word how to tie a tie, which could be competitive. Again, looking at that, how to tie a tie, we're gonna see YouTube, and then what we're looking for is something like tie a tie. Different things where in the domain, it tells us, hey, these guys aren't just like, you know, Sears that has a page on how to tie a tie. It's something specific. Like this guy here is specific about knots. So that's about tying stuff. Or whatever else there is, there's all kinds of things. And we are looking for sites that are doing this. And what you'll notice is sites that are doing this kind of stuff will actually leave breadcrumbs and they will tell you, hey, look, these are the kinds of things that they are ranking for. You can see he's got the Windsor one and stuff like that. And what it'll do is it'll show us what the market looks like. So for this example, it's saying the traffic value is like $4,000. That's debatable. Like if they're just looking to learn to tie a tie, it could make nothing. But if we have a good offer, we have a better chance to make something. Then we can go through and look at the keywords he ranks for, and you'll see the sideways content. How to tie a tie, Windsor knot, how to pocket fold a square or fold a pocket square, and on we go. And you're gonna see that is how this works. How do you tie a full Windsor? All these things, some kind of other knots. Very important. So looking at that is super, super important. Can we do sideways content? Are there groups and forums about this niche? If you find a micro niche that has a good domain, that has good traffic, that has good offers, and there's groups and forums, boom, that's gonna be one that works really well. I'm hoping you're starting to notice that this isn't just about, oh, I wanna be in the health niche. No, that's not a niche, that's a category. We wanna be very tight knit. We wanna look at what's out there, prove the concept before we even start, and then as a bonus, if we can do the Head Start method, we're golden. This is how it works in a super easy way. And if you're searching, you could just put your niche and then put forum. So if I did drone fishing forum, it'll show you all the forums. Or you could use AI and say, find me a bunch of drone fishing forums or something like that. Very specific. This is doing market research at a very micro specific level to see where the money is. So we want to ask ourselves, is it even attainable? If you're in the health niche, no, that's not attainable. If you're in the money niche, that's too broad. But could I be in a subsect of that niche, like how to pay off student loan debt if you are this person or whatever it is, or even like, you know, how do you dress for a formal occasion or something like that, something very specific that ties to an offer. And that brings us to number 4, which is the monetization methods. What you're gonna find when you go to monetize is there's one thing that usually peaks the entire site. For example, if there's a fishing drone that costs $100 and it pays me $80 to sell it, that's gonna be the gold offer. That's gonna be the one that makes me the most money, hands down. And there's always one major offer that's gonna make the most on one site, whether the blog site gets paid on hosting or courses, whether it's the drone fishing one getting paid on drones or fishing poles or whatever it is, there's gonna be that one offer. Or when I was doing workouts for ab muscles, like stomach muscles, there was one specific offer that paid $68 and it did really well. That one by far outsold everything else. And what you'll find is it's like a 70 to 90% of the income is gonna be from that one specific offer. That's where you want to look at your CPA stuff, and I'll show you how to do this with the tool in just a minute. So we're going to go for the gold offer. We're going to find the one that is closest to perfection as possible. If you have the drone fishing site, well, the drone is going to be the big one. That's what they want. They want the drone so they can go fishing. If I could sell them, something as close to what they're looking for as possible, that would be the best. Next, we're going to look for close offers. Okay, could I sell them fishing poles, fishing lines, a course on drone fishing, something like that? Or next up, is there any offers that are related but profitable? Okay, if I was in the blog niche, web hosting would be the big gold offer. Related might be a blog plugin or a niche report or something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have tiered offers where it's like, here's the big one. This is the one we're going to promote the most, that's going to make the most. And then here's the other ones we're going to look at. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our head start. There's several different ways to get a head start. One, can I buy traffic? If it makes sense, if you're in that drone fishing one and you can get traffic where it makes sense. If I'm getting $80 a sale and I can get traffic for 5 cents a click, that's probably good. Of course, there's a risk whenever buying traffic, you could lose money. But those numbers, if they are actually people looking for drones for fishing and I can get them cheap, that would probably work well. Next, my favorite head start is, can I buy a domain, website, or business? This is where you're going to go to Flippa, Empire Flippers, GoDaddy auctions, and you're going to find a domain that has rankings. You guys saw me do this with one about videos, where I went through and I talked about videos and how to make videos for sales letters and things like that. And I bought an entire website around it, and the website is ranking like crazy. It actually had no downtime. From the minute I bought it, the thing ranked as soon as I put content on it, and I'm still getting traffic. There's traffic on it right now. We get traffic on it every day. That was a head start because I bought a domain from people who were starting a business but didn't know how to run it, and for whatever reason, that domain was now at auction and I was ready to go, which was really cool. So understanding that is absolutely key, and that's where I can go to different domain auction sites and see what's available in my niche. And oftentimes, you can use these sites to find niches. I could go through and sort the domains and say, oh, which ones have the most traffic? Oh, hey, maybe I could start a niche based on this domain that already gives me a head start. This is what we do over at gotniches.com, where I go through and I buy domains all the time with a specific criteria, knowing the offers I want to go for, knowing the traffic that's out there, and knowing how I can build it up. And it works like crazy. It's fantastic. It's not, like a magic button, but it does help me get ahead, and it does help me get traffic fast. We actually had one client who used one of our domains right out of the get-go. He shot up to 90,000 visitors a month, and I think he's still getting that much traffic today, 4 years after getting the domain. Now, of course, it took him work. He had to make content, but he was using AI to help him, so it wasn't super difficult, and he's able to get that traffic and monetize the traffic. So it's kind of like building a jumpstart business, if you will. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to look at traffic site boosters. Can I do a press release in my niche? Can I do a backlink, guest posting, different things that'll help boost up my site? We talk about these all the time, and they definitely help.